Receiving the gold coin, Otumfuo indicated that the commemorative coin is an honor he shares with Asantemai and Ghana.
The life of a gold coin in our honor is something that we truly appreciate and sincerely thank all those who have made it happen. We are grateful to the young men who have been moved by our efforts to commemorate them in this manner. And we are particularly thankful to the Bank of Ghana, especially the government of the Bank of Ghana, for giving them the nod to proceed.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo remarked that it is fitting for Otumfuo to be honored with a commemorative gold coin, noting that his contributions to the advancement of peace and stability in the nation are well documented.
It's appropriate that he be so duly honored, not honored on a continental level or international level, and also by the mention of this coin in his honor and face. I'm grateful for the courtesy of your visit and the gift that you have given me. I appreciate it very much. And I'm hoping that developments like these become normal and customary in the development of our nation. Too often, everything that we're doing has had to be externally induced, inspired. And I'm happy that we are gradually beginning to turn away from that image and reality. And incidents like this are important steps on the way to that development. So I want to thank you very much for the gesture.
Former President John Ejikun Kufuor believes that had Otumfuo's achievements in resolving the Dagbon conflict occurred in Europe or America, he and the two other monarchs who mediated the crisis will have been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He recounted how Otumfuo facilitated Ghana's exit from the highly indebted poor countries initiative, HIPC, leading the IMF and the World Bank Group to agree on debt relief totaling approximately $4 billion from Ghana's creditors.
When we took the HIPC initiative and the IMF, we were trying to meet the record in terms of the exiting. My government did so well and we exited record. But at the very critical stage of our exiting, we have attained the completion point. That means somehow it came to the notice of the board that my government had not observed the conditionality and not increasing wages, etc. Coincidentally, Asantini was there, visiting on the invitation of the then president of the World Bank, Mr. Otumfuo. So Otumfuo would prevail on the IMF managing director, who was financing the operation, that they should put Ghana's name back on the agenda. Otumfuo relented and said, all right. So I took them on the line. You treated the write-off of the imports like that. Total over $4 billion United States dollars.
President John Dramani Mahama indicated that Otumfuo Setutu II was the prime mover in settling the Dagbon crisis and mentioned his instrumental role in Ghana securing an extended credit facility from the IMF in 2016 to strengthen the economy.
When we had the crisis with the economy in 2013-2014, Paul will know all these things. We had implemented a single spine pay policy from Professor Mills' time. And 2012-2013 was when the arrears were kicking in. That is after placing everybody on the spine. And so we overshot in terms of revenue. We have been assured that it will be revenue neutral, but it turned out, to be quite embedded on the budget. And so we did the CG Forum, in which PBO being of blessed memory, was one of the prime movers together with Kwame Piem and the others. And after that, they came up with a homegrown fiscal consolidation program. We tried to implement it, but the international investors didn't believe that we had the discipline to be able to do it. And so we try to convince them, but they won't budge. And so eventually we realized that, I mean, if we were to get credibility behind the program, then we needed to go to the IMF. They wanted to see us under the schoolmaster before they believed that we could implement the program. Now we started talking to the IMF, and they were stalling the program and extending the discussions, negotiations. And then after I finished meeting, says, okay, and then they give you another day to meet another month away. Meanwhile, it was critical to get this program locked in as quickly as possible. So one day, in one of my frustrations, I was in Kumasi and I went to see him. And he asked me how things were going. And then I explained to him what was going on. And then I remembered that, he had quite some good friends in high places. So I just said, can you intervene in this thing? I know Jimmy facility from can you, get him to speed up these negotiations for a program for us. And he readily accepted. And because of that request, he got ready, he called the officer, he took a flight, he flew, met him, they went together to Washington, and Jim Wilson took him to, at that time, the IMF director was Madame Lagarde. Yeah. And they went and saw her. And after the meeting, in a short space of time, things changed. And then suddenly, we had the extended credit facility, the ECF. That is a program that turned the economy around, because I'm proud that under that program, in 2016, almost for the first time in our history, we did zero central bank financing of the budget. We didn't take one single cedi, from the central bank.